Okay, now we're going to speak about the present simple tense. And as we said, when we first talk about the tense, we should talk about when should we use it? What should we use it for? As for the present simple tense, we should use it when we speak about three things. Number one, opinions. Number two, habits or routines. And number three, facts. So whenever you talk about or whenever you want to express your opinion or you would like to talk about your habits or routine or you're going to speak about facts, you should use the present simple tense, not any other tense. Okay? Here are some examples about the opinions. So, when you talk about opinions, for example, you can say, I like tea. Rahab doesn't like watching movies. Okay? So, these are some examples of opinions. Some examples for sentences about routine and habits. You can say, I go to work every day. She meets her friends every weekend. We usually watch football on TV. So these are examples about routine and habits. Finally, some examples about facts. It's cold in winter. We need water to live. So these are examples of facts, okay? So as you can see, all these sentences are in the present simple tense. Now what? Okay. How should we put the verb in the present simple tense? Should we add anything to the verb, for example? Will the verb be the same? Okay, so before we start this, we should know that we have two groups or two teams to make it easy for you. And here we are talking about the subject of the sentence. We are talking about the subject of the sentence. As you know, any sentence should start with a subject. The subject can be Ahmed, Mona, Jack, James, or I, you, he, she, it. Okay, here we are. And the first team, if the subject of the sentence is one of these things, I, you, we, they, or plural noun, you just don't add anything to the verb. Just put the verb as it is. Don't add anything. Don't change it at all. Okay, for example, I like coffee. We study English. Ahmed and Muhammad play football. So as you can see, the verbs here are like, study, and play, and nothing has been added to the verbs. So you didn't say likes, you didn't say liked, you didn't say liking, you didn't say will like. You just put like as it is. Okay, so these are some examples of the present simple tense if the subject is one of the first team, okay? Like we said, if the subject is I, you, we, they, or plural noun. Okay, how can we put these sentences into negative? We are still talking about this group, okay? The same group. So if the subject is one of these I, you, we, they, or plural noun, just add don't if you would like to change the sentence into negative. For example, I do like coffee. We don't study English. Ahmed and Muhammad don't play football. So as you can see, we said don't like, don't study, don't play. Easy, right? What about questions? How can you ask a question in the present simple tense? First of all, you should know that we have two kind of questions. Yes or no questions and double H questions. Okay? So now we are talking about yes or no questions. For example, do you like swimming? And the answer is yes, I do, or no, I don't. Do you like Egyptian food? Yes, I do. No, I don't. So you should start your question with do, and the answer is do or don't. It's easy, okay? You can try some examples yourself. You can say, do you like football? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Okay. Double H questions, and we mean by double H questions are those questions that start with where, why, how, who, when, okay, not just do or does. So, for example, where do you live? I live in Egypt. When do you get up? I get up at 7 o'clock. What do they eat for lunch? They usually eat burgers. Easy, okay? So now it's time for you to try your own examples. Okay, that was it for the first team. What about the second team? If the subject of the sentence is he, she, it, or a singular noun like Jack, James, we should add s at the end of the verb to make it in the present simple tense. For example, he lives in UAE. She speaks English. He plays tennis. Sometimes we don't just add s. When should we do this? If the verb ends with one of these letters, S, Z, CH, SH, O, or X, we don't add just S, we add ES. For example, John passes the exam. The phone buzzes suddenly. He watches TV. She washes the dishes. Ahmed goes to school. The mechanic fixes the broken car. So, with these examples, we didn't just add s, we added es because the verbs ends with these letters s, z, ch, sh, o, x. Now it's your turn. Try to think of some verbs that end with these letters and add es to them. Sometimes we should add ies if the verb ends with a consonant letter plus y. We should change the y into ies. For example, he studies English. Ahmed carries a heavy bag. As you can see, the verbs are studies and carries. The verb study, study, before the y we have the d, so we change the y into ies. The verb carry, carry, it ends with y, and before the y there is r, so we change the y into ies. So that's it for the second team. So remember, if the subject is he, she, it, or a singular noun, you can add s, es, or ies. Now let's talk about negative. How can we change these sentences into negative? Remember, with the first team, we used don't, but now we use doesn't. For example, she doesn't watch TV. She doesn't wash the dishes. Ahmed doesn't go to school. As you can see, after doesn't, we just put the verb in the infinitive. By the infinitive, we mean the verb as it is, without anything at the end. We didn't say she doesn't watches, right? We said she doesn't watch. So after doesn't, remember to remove s, es, or ies. Just put the verb as it is. Okay, yes or no questions. For example, does he live in Berlin? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. So we start the question with does and the answer with does or doesn't. It's really easy. Try it yourself. Double H questions. What does Emma like? She likes reading books. Where does she work? She works in a bank. So, after the double H word, we use does. And remember, all the verbs after does are also in the infinitive. So, what does Amal like? We didn't say likes. Remember, where does she work? We didn't say where does she works. We said work. Okay. Now we're going to speak about verb to be. Sometimes the verb of a sentence is not action verb. It's not like play or sleep or swim or study or read. Sometimes it's verb to be. Verb to be in the present simple is one of these verbs am, is, or are. So you can say, I am a teacher. You can say, I'm a teacher. He is a doctor. He's a doctor. She is my sister. She is my sister. In negative, just add not. There is no need to say don't or doesn't. If you have verb to be in the sentence, don't use don't or doesn't. So just use not after verb to be. So I'm a teacher. I'm not a journalist. He's a doctor. He isn't a football player. She is my sister. She isn't my wife. With yes or no questions, use am, is, are at the beginning of the sentence. Don't use do or does because you already have verb to be in the sentence. For example, are you okay? Yes, I am. No, I am not. Is he happy? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Are they outside? Yes, they are. No, they aren't. Double H questions. How old are you? I'm 25 years old. Where is Sarah? She is in the kitchen. So, as you can see, we didn't use do or does in the sentence. We just used am, is, or are. Easy, right? Now what? Now we talk about some of the keywords that we can use to express the present simple tense. We call them adverbs of frequency because we use them to talk about our habits. How often do we do something? Do we do it every day? Do we always do it? Or do we never do it? Okay. As you can see in the picture, we have some words and we grade them from 0% to 100%. So if you do something all the time, you can use always, then usually, often or often, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, rarely, never. Never means you don't do it at all, you never do it. Some other keywords that you can use once, for example, once a week, once a month, once a year, from time to time, or every now and then. Okay, how can we use adverbs of frequency? Where should we put them in the sentence? we have two places. First, with verb to be. For example, he is always late. I am always on time. You are never satisfied. As you can see, he is always, I am always, you're never. We use adverbs of frequency after verb to be. So, is usually, is sometimes, is often, is never. You don't say usually is or sometimes is, okay? With other verbs, if the verb of the sentence is not verb to be, it's easy. For example, we sometimes drink tea in the afternoon. My brother seldom smokes. So, as you can see, we put the adverb of frequency before the verb, not after it. So, we said we sometimes drink. We didn't say we drink sometimes. No. My brother seldom smokes. We didn't say smoke seldom. Okay, good. Okay, what about long time expressions? We can use them in two places, at the end of the sentence or at the beginning of the sentence. For example, I meet my friend every now and then. So we write every now and then at the end of the sentence. Once a week, I go to the shopping mall. So once a week is at the beginning of the sentence. That's it. Now you know everything about the present simple tense.